So the Netflix dark comedy Dead to Me is on its third and its final season. Now, it was also recently announced that Christina Applegate was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and she said that this may be her final project. So, with things coming to a close, how's this final season? In the aftermath of yet another hit and run, both Jen and Judy receive shocking news and are ready to risk their lives for a friendship that's above the law. Now, I really enjoyed the first season of Dead to Me, but felt the second season was very angry and not as enjoyable as the first, so I was a bit hesitant going into this final one, but I was still hoping that it might recapture some of the fun that first season had. Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini are excellent together, and they come across as genuine friends. And this season introduces some new challenges for both of the characters, and I love how they react and also how we see the strength of their bond. Their friendship throughout the series gets the treatment it deserves within this season. I mean, we see a partnership that's inspiring and stressful and even dysfunctional, but one that we can cheer for because of how charismatic the characters are. Each of them also gives some very raw and gut-wrenching performances, where they have to draw on some very deep pain in order to emote how they do. I mean, it's guttural and convincing, and some of it may actually be real emotion that seeped its way into the acting. Now, I'm sure the actors are processing their own stuff, especially with Applegate as she's realistically looking at the end of her acting career due to illness. Now, this season is very emotional as the characters and the story take a look at grief and loss in many different ways. I mean, not only are the women dealing with the aftermath of Steve and his unfortunate meeting with a bird in a pool, but they also have to tackle some unexpected speed bumps in their lives that aren't going to be easy to get through. The pacing for this is quick, with each episode sitting in that 30-ish minute range. They're easily bingeable and move through the story quickly enough to keep you engaged and not get bored. And although the story is highly predictable, I mean, even with the surprises that the characters encounter, it's still a fun ride watching them stress about their situations and try to make things better, all while creating more of a mess for themselves and then everyone around them. Now, also because of what happened to Steve, the police are involved trying to solve that mystery. And the storyline's only mildly engaging, especially since it ultimately just doesn't add up to much. The cops endure stress over the situations, just as Jen and Judy do, but there never seems to be any real weight to their involvement, even though the pressure is there. If you're offended by profanity, this has never really been a show that would attract you, but in this one, it feels as if they're trying to set the record for the number of F-bombs that can be dropped in an episode. I mean, at one point, Jen is using the word so often that another character actually asks her to stop. I mean, it was funny, and then follows up with more F-bombs. Now, it's funny, at the beginning of this series, I was invested in the mystery and the turmoil that Jen and Judy were experiencing. But now, I really couldn't care less about the mystery angle, and I just wanted to watch them interact with each other. Like, this really could have just turned into a sitcom, where each episode is a standalone, and we just watch them get into stupid situations and have to figure out how to get themselves out, which would involve then some crazy or convoluted scenario that was overcomplicated for what it really needed to be. There's one episode in this season where Jen and Judy take something that alters their reality. I mean, it is so fun to watch them trip and then have the most random conversations. And this was also one of my favorite episodes because of how they were interacting. And that's where the strength of this season really lies. It's the relationship between the two. I mean, yeah, there are several other relationships that are examined, and each of those does have a touching arc. I mean, even some are unexpected. But when it's Jen and Judy together, the story becomes captivating and really fun to watch. There are 10 episodes for this final season, and they use that time to wrap up the storylines and then give us a conclusion. Now, it may not be the ending you hope for or want, but at least we get closure to the series. Now, I wasn't terribly thrilled by the end, and that's just because I wanted the fairy tale ending, even though this show has never had a happy fairy tale moment in it. So while I wasn't sure before this season started if I was excited to watch, by the end of the finale, I really enjoyed the relational aspects of the story, especially the ride-or-die friendship that develops between Jen and Judy. The dramas that brought them together are good, but what kept this show engaging and really intriguing was how they were going to deal with whatever hurdle popped up next in their lives. And there were several this season. And James Marsden returns, and he's a great addition because he can be goofy and endearing all at once. And there's also a wonderful small reunion with Katie Siegel and Christina Applegate that I just loved. I mean, they didn't do anything meta or as a wink and a nod to Married with Children, but it was good to see them share the screen once more. Overall, the final season of Dead to Me gives the characters a resolute farewell and allows the actors to emote in some powerfully touching scenes. The rawness of their emotions, mixed with the dark comedy, weave a captivating dynamic that will create smiles and tears. While not all of the storylines feel necessary or even impactful, they do complement the actors and create situations for fun adventures. There's sex, no nudity, a lot of violence, and almost non-stop profanity. I give Season 3 of Dead to Me 3.5 out of 5 couches. So what's a buddy comedy that you enjoy? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.